Hello, and welcome back to Coin Lady channel. To Judge Torres, please reconsider your decision in the SEC versus Ripple case. Is there a risk that a higher court will reverse the part of the judgment that determined XRP wasn't a security? What about attractiveness? If the SEC or the other party plans to appeal, when can we expect to hear from them? After Judge Torres's ruling on the main issues, is there still a potential for a settlement? Is there a chance that the SEC and Ripple might come to an agreement? There's a lot to dissect here, and attorney John D.T. provided me with some excellent insight, but I'll keep things simple for the time being. This is a fascinating issue. Real-life encounters with these legal practitioners. Some of these are hilarious in their obvious partiality. Even so, it was sufficient to merely witness them, as the attorney had foretold a devastating defeat for him. Obviously, they were completely wrong. They are more committed than ever to their illogical schemes. There are many optimists who believe things will start looking up soon. Yes, we did finally decide on anything. Therefore, I shall explain why it is all nonsense. Nevertheless, if they persist in thinking that their defective beliefs will be justified by some higher authority, then they have already been demonstrated to be wrong. In particular, their mistake with XRP stands out in bold relief. To be more specific, what exactly is the most important aspect of this situation? The actual asset is never under jeopardy. Something safe, if you will. Listen, I've got a list to show you, in case you were thinking of talking about something else. I've tried it out a couple times on my channel. But there's a good reason for that, too. I should preface this by saying that I am not a lawyer or a financial expert. I cannot advise you on matters of finance or law. Furthermore, you must not rely any financial choices on anything I say or write. To pass the time I enjoy making crypto-related YouTube videos, although I'm simply a fan. Take a look at the banner you've made today. An SEC official has expressed concern about the future of XRP, saying that the cryptocurrency is in a vulnerable position and that an appeal is now being prepared. XRP John Reed Stark, a former member of the SEC, is skeptical of the current judgment in support of Ripple. He also cautioned that the SEC intends to appeal, which might lead to the verdict being overturned. Incredible, in every way. The judge simply relied on a 1946 law. She only managed to achieve that. Researchers are looking into the Howey test, exactly what you're thinking, XRP. And on a philosophical level, this man is so dishonest. His claims appear completely illogical, and I find it hard to believe that he seriously considers them to be true. Even among my fellow former SEC lawyers, not all are corrupt. There is, in fact, a lawyer by the name of Mark Fago whose logic I don't find compelling, but who apparently believes it wholeheartedly. One way I can tell is that I agree with much of what attorney Fagel has to say about the subject. John Reed Stark has said nothing to me where I've said, yeah, that makes sense, and I find that to be the case. He seems to be making an effort at intellectual honesty, yet I disagree with everything he says. That's exactly right. In addition, he blocks a lot of XRP holders who are pledging their coins for no apparent purpose other than to express unpopular opinions. Act like a complete idiot. Here's the second big news about Ripple and XRP to come out today. A successful appeal might put a damper on the festivities. You're quite helpful, seasoned SEC citizen. Here is the opinion of Mark Fail, a former SEC attorney, in the spotlight. The following tweet about Judge Torres was posted by someone using the handle @SardonicBull. As buyers and sellers on exchanges are typically total strangers, he explains, I believe she said there was no contract. Yeah. Spot on. How do you know that your tall stature is contributing to your joy? Is it possible to trust a vendor who doesn't reveal their identity to artificially inflate the price of XRP? Therefore, the idea that a higher court will reverse this seems completely ridiculous to me. But attorney Fagel has a different opinion. He retorted, maybe from a contract law perspective, but not from a securities perspective. You don't know who you're purchasing shares from. The idea that the conclusion is drastically different for an investment transaction is irrational. The Second Circuit Court of Appeals almost certainly will rule to reverse the lower court's decision. Oh, he really thinks a higher court will rule differently, but I don't buy his justification. By the way, I'm not a lawyer either. The argument I'm presenting here, however, has been confirmed by numerous attorneys. However, he stressed again, in the stock market, you never know who you're dealing with. Exactly does that imply, then? What does that have to do with this? This link will take you to the Cornell Law School website, however, you can find the same information here. Article 78 includes a glossary of terms, some of which are relevant to the issuance of securities. Right now, on your computer, is a definition or explanation of the word security, and while I appreciate the effort, it is not necessary. They incorporate it into the text itself. If you've been following along, you'll see that I highlighted stock as an example of one of these things. Does this include XRP? Can Bitcoin and other virtual currencies be purchased? No. His claim that you have no idea who or what you're receiving when investing in a security like shares is ludicrous. Exactly what he said. With all due respect, Mr. Attorney Fagel, I must say that you are completely wrong about the MSA. There must be more to it than what we see on the television. Anything not on that list is just an asset. And not a security. It could be a part of a scheme that amounts to a monetary deal. Yes. But this is by no means an analogous situation. Let me add that. I don't know how he can say that and with a straight face. A professor of law who tweets, "I have no skin in the game and don't really care," appears to be that way. My prediction is that both sides will file appeals. The SEC's chances of successfully appealing the automated sales judgment are far higher than 50-50. How he could possibly think that is reasonable is beyond me. But he thinks that even on the programmatic sales, the clarification we have from X or from Judge towards the notion that XRP is not a security can be reversed. Yes, technically speaking, I do believe that everything is conceivable. However, the possibility of such happening is extremely small. Honestly, it wouldn't matter a fig if I didn't. To be honest, I couldn't care less. Attorney Morgan retweeted this and added, "Unfortunately, I think Mark is accurate, and both sides will appeal unless there is a settlement." I don't see how a settlement happens, Attorney Fagels remarked in response. The decision on summary judgment would stand. There would be far-reaching implications for the SEC in crypto cases if that decision were accepted by other courts. Attorney Morgan said that it would happen if the SEC was sincere in its belief that the finding was correct. Prosecutors and government agencies should not act like private parties out to win at all costs and exhaust the other side in a case unless they are very certain that their conclusion is correct. Okay. Thus, Attorney Morgan is accurate. However, I would add that, given that we are dealing with the SEC, I do not believe they are operating in good faith and would resort to behaving in bad faith if necessary to obtain the outcome they seek. The lawyer then countered, when there is ambiguity in the law or any emerging novel issue, a party can have a good faith basis for pursuing a legal position, despite the objections. Their objection was upheld by the court after it examined the evidence. Then Kev replied, "Mark, do you agree with Attorney Deaton that nobody can appeal until the case has concluded after the trial? That might not occur until 2024 at the earliest. Either party may request what is known as an internal locutory appeal, which must be granted by the appellate and trial courts." He seems to be implying that an appeal can be filed by either party regardless of what you claim. However, that doesn't guarantee their success. Then he goes on to say that there has been a case like this before in court. However, this is difficult to foresee. If that doesn't happen, then you'll have to wait until the trial is over to file your appeal. Now, Attorney Deaton steps in. I find this perspective to be quite interesting. My goal with this video is to convey just that. When I said that an appeal couldn't be made before a jury verdict, I wasn't intending to imply anything, according to Attorney Deaton. The one caveat is that you cannot file an appeal in court. In the event that Judge Torres grants authorization, either party may next file an appeal with the Second Circuit. Judge Torres is unlikely to approve the SEC's motion for summary judgment under Howey. The judge applied the Howey rules strictly to each type of XRP sale that the SEC contended was illegal. In the event that you are found to be in violation, the SEC has urged that you take steps to resolve the violation with respect to specific types of XRP sales. Since the SEC is run by a group of office whiners, they get upset whenever your judge travels throughout the country hearing cases. Then they return after filing an appeal. As a traveling judge, how would you respond to this? To what extent do you believe that? That's not what I'm thinking at all. Not only did the court rule that she didn't need to provide her permission, but it also ruled that the Howey test was the controlling standard and that it had been correctly applied. The court essentially applied a standard set by the Supreme Court for the past 76 years to the specifics of the case at hand. Even if you disagree with her reasoning or her policy priorities, you can't deny that this situation fits the criteria of that rule. Given the weight of her ruling, why would she allow an appeal at this juncture? One or both parties may submit a strong written argument. However, at this time I don't think it's likely. So, you hit the mark exactly. Because veteran SEC attorney John Reed Stark thinks there's a good chance it'll be reversed, I think you're on shaky ground with this XRP thing. The four cornerstones of our defense. The judge was undoubtedly guided by established norms. The case involving this 76-year-old man is a precedent established by the Howey test from 1946. I just don't see that happening. It surprises me that Attorney Deaton thinks Ripple would agree to an interlocutory appeal so that his client can file a cross-appeal and complete an OTSL transaction. The case has already gone on for 3 years, not including the 30 months spent on the inquiry, so if I were the lawyer for Ripple's 2 executives, I would rise up and pound the table in protest at an early appeal. And it's been a dark cloud that the company can't seem to escape. There are 2 high-ranking officials involved, and there was no fraud. The sooner they get their day in court, the better. To analyze the information provided by the SEC and the SEC won on specific sales, we followed our usual operating method. I completely disagree with making this the rule of the land for the next 2 to 3 years. I concur. I can't conceive of any justifiable explanation for Ripple's behavior. I can understand the reasoning for that, too. Attorney Deaton wrote this as well. Since Thursday, when Judge Torres' decision was made public, interesting things have been said regarding XRP. There has been an exaggerated amount of confirmation bias in the analysis of the Torres judgment by many people, including extremely clever and experienced lawyers. Many who earlier projected a unanimous SEC victory, on the grounds that the SEC has never lost a crypto case, XRP is clearly a security, etc., now believe the Second Circuit will reverse the Torres. Obviously, they erred. Right. However, some highly bright and experienced attorneys are among those who have praised the traveler's judgment, calling it appeal-proof, and an appeals judgment in this case would take another 2 to 3 years. Remember that the trial must occur before the appeal may be heard. Even if the appeals process could take another 2 to 3 years, the Torres ruling is still in effect for the time being. This is, without a doubt, one of the most heated discussions in existence today. Yeah. Are you kidding me? Those who predicted the SEC would have an easy time labeling XRP a security have been proven wrong. And they're much more unyielding in their insistence on their absurd views. It's just a bad judgment that will be rolled back, though. Where, however, does it collapse under scrutiny when we consider the underlying logic, the Howey test, and the actual legislation that governs such situations? The acid is not part of any fail-safe system. If it sounds good on the surface, why can't people believe it? So, who was right, in the view of Attorney Deaton? On Tuesday's show, we'll get deep into this crypto legal topic. The existence of confirmation bias cannot be denied. That's why I've invited an expert to weigh in on whether or not the Taurus judgment will survive an appeal. Therefore, I expect expectation. Having read many different perspectives on this issue, I feel qualified to provide my own. The belief that XRP itself is not safe is, however, not something I think will get any worse. The Howey test should be used immediately. If such a thing were to happen, you might as well declare oranges to be securities and no fool to be Jesus. When it comes to money, I don't offer any advice. Nothing I say should have any bearing on any business decisions you make. Right? Please like and subscribe my channel. See you later, bye.